All right. So project 2, we're going to cover that today. And then on Tuesday, when you come in class, the test will be in D2L. And so you'll just, like we did on test 1, you'll download it and or open it. It's a PDF, and this time you'll do pseudocode flowchart and Python on the test. Okay. So let's open up project 2 first. Get to the right spot here. Okay, so the actual project document we went over the other day and on Tuesday, and we read through it where you could take project 1 to start with, and then you would create a function. You could actually write it where this was part of project 1 first, and then pull it out into a function if you had trouble with the function working. But in this particular one, what I told you to do was enter the number of desk lamps, make it where it will let you input lamps, tables, and then you would ask what kind of wood the coffee table was made out of. And if it was mahogany, then you would add $75 to the cost of the coffee table, of each coffee table, $100 if it was oak, and no charge if it was pine. And then you were to output all the input. So depending upon where you ask the input, you may had to pass it to, or you may not have, into the function. So let's. Uh-huh. It wouldn't do it. Do you have yours up there? Okay. Okay, well, let's just look at it and see if I can figure out what you're saying. Okay, so it sounds like either you don't have the quotes in the right place. Let me see here. This, oh, right there. Okay. Oh, that's just a flow chart. Okay. So what we did, let's download it. Two students, there we go. Okay, so you defined your two constants, then you ask for, or you told them how much each constant was. Okay, let me run it and see what it does, and then we'll go from there. Where's your function? Did you make a function? Wait, I don't see the call to, you have to make a call to the function. Okay, you're doing that without making a call to a function. Yeah, okay, and so then this part where you've got it running, you're going to have to pull that out into a function. So that's fine, we'll do that. Okay, let's see what it does. We'll run it. How many? Okay, you ask for tables first. What type of wood? And you said if you put like oak in. Invalid literal for. Okay, so this says wood type equals int, table string, invalid literal for int with base 10 oak. Okay, this is from line 20. Okay, so line 20 says, the one it's talking about is this one. So you input web type. Oh, that's because wood type is a string, so you don't want to change a string into an int. See, because you have them enter either mahogany, oak, or pine, so you don't want to switch it to a integer. So let's just, so that I don't have to change anything else, we'll just take that out. And let's see what it does now, because then I don't have to change your other variables. Okay, let's see what happens here. Run. And let's see, oak. Okay, now unsupported operands for float and string. So that's in the table total it doesn't like. So in table total equals table price, which is a constant float, times number of tables, which is an integer, plus number of tables times. Okay, so here's what's happened. Okay, when you say number of tables times wood type, okay, where you have to do an if else to determine which wood type it is, and then it would put either 175 or 0 with it.
Different versions of Python?
Which version are you in?
I tried 3 and 2.6.
2.6 is totally different. You
Yeah,
don't want to use it at all.
Oh, okay. See, everything I did in 2.6 would work.
Yeah.
Like, fine, like 3, 2, oh. And it all comes out, but I can't get it to run in 3, so I'm gonna see what you're doing. That's messing me up. I don't know what I'm messing up.
Okay, let's see. You did the same. You did the same one.
Yeah, on 2.6 and it runs with it one on 3. That's why I swapped over, because I kept having an issue.
Yeah, 2.7 is it. I mean, you can go like 2.7, 0.13, 2.8, but as soon as you hit 3, there's a lot of things that change.
Okay.
So here, you use the same program here?
Yeah, exact same.
Let me see, wood type equals.
I don't know why. It's
Yeah,
crazy,
that
right?
doesn't even make sense, because you're saying input wood type, and then you're taking that string and converting it to an integer.
Right. And it's still, I didn't know what I was doing, honestly, but it worked for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know why it would work. Let me see if it worked right. Did you multiply, are those the right values? Yeah, that doesn't make sense at all.
So I'm just going to watch what you do.
Okay.
That'll fix the issue.
Oh,
I just wanted
right.
to show you that while
Okay, yeah, that's weird.
That's why I thought it.
Okay, all right, so wood type equals, so now after this, after he has taken in the value, okay, he's asked what kind of wood type. So right then it would have said oak, and it would have put it in wood type. So now I would need to say if wood type is the same as mahogany's first. So I might want to say mahogany. Okay, so if it's the same as mahogany, what do I do? I can either set, I'm going to go up here. Let's see. I have to set another variable that I can put the value of mahogany in. So if mahogany, I see what you were trying to do. You were trying to make this a constant, right? So then I would say if wood type is equal to, if they entered mahogany, then wood type would equal mahogany. You don't have to actually put, so then you would say wood type equals mahogany, because that's what you used for a constant variable name, right? So if it's not mahogany, then you would say else. Oh, actually, I think I have to put a colon up there, right? Let me see. Maybe that's right. May not be doing my if else. You guys watching, Sam? Is that if else look right? Let's see, or anybody else look at that and see if it looks right. Else, if wood type is the same as, well, keep doing pluses, the same as oak, then wood type is, let me do this. Else, wood type is the same as oak, then wood type equals oak. And otherwise, I can either put that it falls through, if it's not else, if it's not wood type there, then it would be, okay, so then I know it's pine, so I don't have to do anything, right? So now I've got it where wood type should be an integer now, because it's either 75 or 100. So it should take it. Let's try this now. Run. Oh, that's what I thought. I have to have a colon. I thought I left that off. Colon. I forget syntax between Python and JavaScript, and that one needs a colon. Okay, so run. Wait a minute, else. I think my colon actually, else, oh, I know what I have to do, else if. I have to do else if. Else if wood type equal to oak. What were you asking? Should be. If wood type is the same as oak, then wood type equals oak. And then you would do another, else, right, for pine. Okay, so then I would say else wood type is, and I still got to put another colon. I think it needed one here, 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 and else wood type equals 0. Now, I don't want to, if I say 0 and it does number of tables, yeah, that'll be right. Okay, so let's try this. Let's see, runs. Okay, how many tables? If we buy, oops, put something somewhere. Where did that go? I put a 3 somewhere that I didn't want it to be. 3. Wood type, oak. Unsupported operand types for plus, float and string. Still saying that there's a string somewhere for plus. Oh, in here. Okay, so where is the, Oh, did I add that right? Number of, oh, I put that 3 in there by accident. I knew I put it somewhere. I can't figure out where it was. Okay, so it's saying, okay, is number of tables in it? Where did those go? Number of tables. No, you changed it to an int there. I think it was just where I accidentally put that input in there. So let's try it again. Let's try one more time. Wood type, oak. No, it's still saying. Well, let's see. That should still. It's saying this table total number of tables. Maybe, I don't know why it's saying one of them float and string. I do not. Let's try this and see if this fixes it. If it's mahogany, wood type equals 75, instead of using your constant, if this works, I don't know. And then there's something wrong with the constant. Right. 3, 2. Now it's still doing it. So there's something wrong there, the way you've got it set up. Now, we'll come back to this if we see, because I want to find somebody's that's working. Samuel? Okay.
I'm working. I just did mine completely differently.
You did? Okay.
Yeah,
But you did do a function?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I didn't read through the entire project assignment,
okay.
so I didn't see the way that you had done it. I just did it differently. It still works.
Okay. And Dakota probably got his working, right? No. Okay, we'll look at several of them. Who has theirs working? Anybody else? No? Okay, so let's look at, well, I'm glad we didn't have the test today, huh? Maybe I should look, is your flow chart and pseudocode match your Python, Samuel? Okay, let's see, and then we can kind of maybe get an idea. Let me download so y'all can see it, because it's kind of hard to see there. Download. And I can make it bigger.
The way I did it, I was under the assumption that they could name any number of tables as a specific type of wood. So if they wanted 5 tables, they could have 2 made of mahogany, 2 made of oak, and 1 made of pine. And it would still add it all together. And it'd be
You made it more complicated.
Yeah.
Okay, I better not start with that one first, because that'll really be. Yours, who said Matthew? Okay, let's go to yours and see, and then we'll go back. Okay, so let's go to Matthew's. I've got one that works right here too, but I think it helps if we go through different ones the way different ones did it, and then we'll go to the one that I have that I did that works. Okay, so let's look at your thing here first too. Let me see if I can get it to go bigger without, oh yeah, there it is. Okay, so Matthew had his start here. He set the lamp cost and the table cost, so those are constants. Then ask for input number of lamps, input number of tables, input wood type, and then made a call to his function, which would be here. And in his function, he says if, okay, did you pass wood type? You ask wood type up here and then call the function. So did you pass wood type into it?
I don't think so, but
it recognized it. Yeah, that's Python. Python's forgiving. Just a minute, we'll do that. Oh, sorry. Okay, so if wood is the same as mahogany, then table equals table cost plus 75. And then you went to the connector. And here, if it's oak, okay, that's good on your if else. You did that correctly. Then you return the table cost back to the function where you, so you needed to actually have a variable over here. Did you do that on? Okay, let me go to your, okay, I'll go ahead and go to your program then, because your logic is pretty close. Okay. So can you see this one at the back, Dylan?
Yeah.
Okay. So define, okay, so here's his function at the top, which was what was required. He initializes lamp cost. Okay, yeah, this you didn't have to do. You don't have to do it, make it into an integer because it is already an integer. The only time that Python requires that you convert is if it's an input field. Because when the user enters the input, they enter it as a string. So then number of lamps equals how many lamps. Now this is correct. He went ahead and converted a string to an integer. Then wood equals, I want to see why your call worked. Oh, there's your call right there. That's why, because you do actually have a variable right there. It's using what you return to do this calculation. So it really is dumping the return right here. So that's a little more advanced. Okay. It was simpler to you. Okay. So here's what he did. He said he initialized, he set these as constants, comes down, asks for his input. And then the wood, he asked for the wood type. And so input, what type of wood are the tables? Okay, and then he makes a call here to his function in the same calculation statement. So this, it adds the lamp cost, or multiplies lamp cost times num lamps, and it gets that, and it's sitting there waiting. Then it adds number of table and makes a call to T price.
So the T price is equal to table, and the table is equal to the cost of the table.
Yeah, it does it. It's making a call. It's using the call as a variable name. So what you return back is plopped right there. And so that's one method of doing it, which is very efficient. So here you say, you go up here, if wood's the same as mahogany, and you probably want to tell them when they enter wood to make it a capital, or you'd want these to be lowercase. So, because if you didn't see the program, you wouldn't know that it's going to be looking for a capital M and a capital O. Okay, so here after he tests those, lets it fall into whichever one. And here, okay, that's a good way to do it. If it's not mahogany or oak, he just sets the table cost equal to the original cost of the table. And so it's also picking up the constant from down in here. Some languages won't do that. Because remember how we learned a function, the variables that are inside the function are not known down in main. So normally you would have to, in most languages, you would have to pass this into here.
You would do that by putting in the parentheses.
Put it in the parameters. Yes, in the parentheses.
And just say like wood, comma, and table cost.
Yes,
I'm using.
that's exactly right. So, and you would probably name these variables different in here, the name of them that you pass up to here, because you don't want it to use the same memory location like I was talking about the other day on Tuesday, I think, about how when you establish these variables right here, num lamp, num table, table cost, it plops them in a location in memory and labels them with that variable name. But the value that's in there is what you're trying to get out. So you're going to take that value and place it in a variable that's up here. So it's a different variable name, so it's a different location. And but let's run it this way and see how this works. And then we'll go and see. I'll show you another way. How many lamps? 2. How many tables? 3. What type of wood? Okay, and it would have, I know from looking at his program, that has to be a capital M or it won't find a match. Mahogany, 820. Okay, so that's the cost if you go with mahogany tables. Now, what I was saying is his function is exactly right. That's what needed to be in the function. And he was able, because how Python does, he was able to use the variable from here up in the function. But you remember when we were reading chapter 3, and I think it was one of your quiz questions about stacks and how the function is a separate program and from the main, and so whatever you want the function to use out of main, you have to pass it into the function. So if we got that to be correct, then in here he would need to pass wood, and you don't put a comma, you just do this, you go wood and table cost, because he uses both of those two variables in his function. But up here, I could call it, let's just call it WT, and what's the other one? Cost. So then I have to go in here and change it to also be cost, and this to be WT, and this one to be cost. So now when we run it and say we enter a 3 for number of lamps, then it goes ahead and calculates the number of lamps. And then we do number of tables times T price. So it's going to pass mahogany will now be what's sitting in WT, and 155 will be sitting in cost. So when we enter mahogany the first time, it is the same as mahogany, so the cost, which is 155 plus 175, will be the new table cost, and it'll drop down here, return that table amount to this variable, and so then it will multiply the number of tables times that amount.
So how does another set wood equals input for type of tables? How does another set that equal to WT?
Because when you go, okay, when you go from, in memory, we've just got variables there. We've got wood sitting there, and it's equal to mahogany. And when we go to a function, we're leaving this main part of the program, but this is sitting here somewhere in memory. Just say it's at hex code 567AB, okay? And it's sitting there in memory, okay? This value, this is just a label for our program. The computer doesn't care about that. So now you're saying go to an entirely new function, and I want to use this value, but I want,
oh, you said that,
and it just puts that into there.
Okay.
The important part is when you pass a parameter is that you have the same number of variables here as you do up there, and it'll plop them in order.
Okay.
Okay? Question? Anybody else question? Okay, so if we run this, let's make sure that I set it up right. Where it'll run again. Okay, what is it not like? Table cost, invalid syntax. Maybe it does want a comma. I didn't think it does. Shouldn't. But we'll see. Maybe that's what it wanted. Yeah, maybe it is wanting comma. Maybe I was totally missed. I mean, I'm just telling you, there's so many syntax things on different languages. Let's see if that was it. There we go. Okay, so I was wrong. It does need a comma between the variables. How many lamps? 2. Oh. Number equals invalid literal for M. Now, why is it giving this problem now? Huh. That's in line. This line, it doesn't like this line of code all of a sudden. That should have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the changes that we made. Sample it. Anybody see anything wrong? Huh, it ran before I made your changes, made those changes. Did you see anything, Logan? See anything? See anything wrong there? Let's see. Let me go again. Let me do this. Let me put out print. Oh, okay, I want to see what it did there. In fact, let's do this. Let's make this just an N. And let's make this just an N. Okay, now let's run it and see what happens. Oh, wait a minute, that won't work. My print won't work. Because I changed that. This needs to say print. Okay, so now run. How many lamps? 2. How many tables? 3. What type of wood? Oak. Okay, it worked that time. It didn't like, for some reason, what worked when I changed it to an intermediary variable where it changed the name of that, it worked. I can't tell you why, but it did. But this is the way that, this is one way to do it in the statement where you're passing the parameters, and you really need to only pass them if you didn't put all of this in your function, all of the input in your function. Okay, so who else has one that's done different?
With my complicated one, I do it for it.
Your complicated one? Okay, let's see. Where did I already downloaded that one.
You downloaded my flowchart from that.
Oh, I didn't download your.
You didn't download my.
Okay, let's see. Samuel. Did you have yours, Caitlin? No? Okay. Okay. Nobody else has theirs? No. Joseph, did you get yours? Did you get yours done? Okay. It's on there? Okay. Who was?
that Dylan was having.
Oh, with the two different Pythons. Oh, yours look like Dylan's. Okay. Yeah, that's fine to work together. It's no problem, except for the test. Okay, so here's what Samuel did is he defined all of his constants up here at the top. And then he asked for his input for number of lamps. And then he went ahead and calculated the lamp price. Then number of coffee tables, converted that. So you can do all that before your function. The important thing is that your function is before your call to your function. So where is your call? Right here, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you're only doing the call. What does the else do?
If there's no table, if they're not buying any tables, it just.
Oh, you did some checking for validity. Okay, that's good. Okay, so his is going to do where he checks or sets up his constants, gets his input, and then he goes down but you didn't pass anything either into wood type. So all of your input is just like Matthew's was in the main, but you don't pass it into the function because Python allows you to do that. That's the thing I don't like about using Python, because every other programming language that you use will not allow you to do that. JavaScript doesn't, Java, C++, none of them recognize a variable that was established in main. And so it's teaching bad habits. I do not, but I was told that I had to start using Python. So here we go. Let's see. Okay, so print mahogany tables, print no extra charge. Okay, let's see how it runs. What he was saying that he did is, okay, how many tables are made of mahogany? So he's asking some more questions where you can get more than one set of tables, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go here. Okay, how many lamps to enter number of coffee tables? No extra charge for pine. How many tables are made of mahogany? Does yours ask? Oh, yours doesn't even ask mahogany or oak. Okay, that's one way around getting capital letters or not. You see what he did? He asked, how many tables are made of mahogany? So you said that you're buying 3. So let's say if one is made of mahogany, or to get the same that we were getting, let's just say all 3. How many are made of oak? How many are made of pine? 2 desk lamps, 3 coffee tables, 3 coffee tables made of mahogany, 0 of oak, 0 of pine. So the total cost. That's exactly right. Got the same answer.
Say it works.
Yeah. You just asked more questions. He actually allowed you to put in there how many of oak and how many of pine you were of those 3. So that keeps you from having to say, compare it to a string, because he always compares it to a numeric, which is a little easier there. The other thing that he did that was good, what's the other thing I was going to bring up? I can't remember now. There was something else. So if they go in, that's really good. I've never had anyone do it that way. That's that's how you read the problem, or you just didn't read all of it?
I just didn't read all of it.
All of the problem.
See,
Okay.
I didn't read the way that the Python read out. Like
Okay.
at the bottom.
Oh, you didn't look at the test run.
Right.
Okay. All right.
So I just kind of did it in whatever way made sense to me.
Okay. Well, this actually gives more option. Okay. So let's see. Now I want to look at the one that is real straightforward that I did just to say what I really intended, but what I always like is to see the way different ones do it. Okay, so if we were just going straight off the problem, project 2. Now that was the start. Okay, I gave you the start. So if you took the start that I gave you in class on Tuesday and modified it, you could do a couple of different things. Here's the one with, okay, here's the most straightforward one, and then we're going to go back to the start and modify it. But here is where the function's at the top, define wood type, and you'll notice that I'm going to pass in that parameter, because what I did is I went ahead and defined my constants, mahogany and oak, at the top of the function instead of defining them down here. So all I'm passing back is the tables, the table amount, how much it costs. So here I say print, welcome to Mathis Brothers. Here are the cost of tables, the cost of lamps, and I did it with float so it would make dollars and cents. You could put it out that way. And that's what this is. The %.2f is going to print it out as money. Okay, so how many tables would you like to buy? How many lamps would you like to buy? What type of wood would you like the coffee tables? And I say mahogany, oak, or pine so that they see that it's lowercase. What type of wood for your coffee tables? It's a string wood. So wood type string of wood is what I'm passing, and I'm going to return into this variable called cost of wood. Okay, so this is my call. This is my call to my function wood type. There's the name of the wood type. I'm passing the string wood into WT. Okay, so then when I get to here, if WT is the same as mahogany, then I'm setting this tables value variable to this constant 75. Okay, else if that I passed in is oak, then I'm going to set it to what this constant is, and then return whichever it falls into, return tables. Now you see I started tables up here with 0, so if pine was entered, it's going to drop out of both of these and just return 0, right? So I didn't have to do an additional if that way, because if it is not mahogany and it's not oak, since I initialized tables to 0, then it's just going to pass back tables as 0. So let's try it with all 3 and see what happens, all 3 values of oak. So here, if I run it and tables are 3, lamps are 2, what type of wood? Say oak. And then it's $8.95. So the one that I gave you was with 2 and 3, and it was with mahogany, that value, I think, at the end. What is that? I think it's here that I opened. And then let's just say pine, just so that we'll have it there, is equal to 0, right? Because we don't want to add anything. So now, how do we determine which one of those amounts our wood's going to be? What do we need next? If else. Good. Isn't that what somebody said? I think they did. If wood, and remember we have to use a double equals when we're doing a comparison. If wood is the same as, let's say that they entered mahogany. If it's the same as mahogany, then we would want to make whatever our return field, we'll just say cost is equal to MAH, right? Else. And how do we set that up? We already had that one in here. I could have copied the whole. Is it still open? Let's see. No, it's not. Okay, so else if, or else, all I have to say is else what cost is equal to, and then what's the last thing I do in a function? Return. And this time, what am I returning? Cost. So I'm going to return cost, and I already put that statement in here. So let's take the, so when I return cost, it's going to be dumped into this variable cost underscore wood type, right? So what do I need to do with that variable? For the cost of coffee tables, right? So I'd say number of tables times tables plus cost, right? And so now my output should be the total of that. So let's see if it works. And you see why I didn't have to pass a parameter is because I did my input up here inside my function. If I ask for wood type down here before I made the call, then I would just pass that up into my function. So we can do it both ways. Let's do it this way first and see if it works. Okay. Oops. Okay, so what does it say? Total equals name cost is not defined. Okay, so it wants me to, oh, name cost, didn't pass it back. Here it says it's not deep. Oh, I know why. Look, what did I name it down here? I didn't name it cost. Once it came back into main, what is it called? Yes. So I named my variable wrong. You see, that's the part that I'm telling you when you pass back from a function. See, it didn't know what cost was once I was back in main because that variable cost was only known inside the function. Y'all get that?
In the return, would you put cost underscore W?
Good question. The reason you can't is because cost WT, where is it defined, in the main or in the function? In the main function. No, cost underscore WT, it's only down here in the main. So it's not up here. So if I sent cost underscore WT from here, it would say that's not defined inside the function. So when you go down here and put cost, it's going to dump into cost underscore WT. And so the problem was I was trying to use the variable that from up here in this function down here in main. So I had to change that. Okay, so now it should run. There we go. You see how simple that was if you had project one? We didn't have to do very much. We just put the call. We have to, sometimes students leave out the call. That's why I put it down here. In the main, you have to make a call and the name of the function is wood type. So we wrote our wood type function up here, right? That's all we added to it was this call and the function up there. So now if I was, let's say that I want to take like everybody else did, I think Robert and Matthew maybe made the, asked the input down in the main, right? Come on. There we go. Oh, I meant to take it out. Okay, so I'm going to ask that here right before I make the call to the function. So instead of doing it up here, I'm going to ask the wood type down here. So what do I need to do to my call? Because now I put this statement inside my main. So wood is only known in main. It's not known up here in the function. So how do I get it up there to the function? So right here, I'm asking wood, what kind of wood it is. How do I, when I make the call to the function, how do I make sure that the wood is going to go up into the function? What did I do a while ago in Matthews? We were working with Matthews and we put the parameter in here, right? We put this is where you're asking it in main. So I need to say, when I make this call to this function, pass the wood, send it up here to my function. And let's just call this W. So now, instead of wood, it's called W in here. Make no sense? Okay, so see, when you read chapter 3, it was telling you that a function has variable names, and when it says it starts up here define and it ends at the return, then everything that's in here is blanked out of memory. And main, when you come back down here to the statement right below where the function runs, from here down, it doesn't know what was up in the function. And the same way, this function up here does not execute until the call. And everything that's down in main, it's when you make a call up here, it doesn't know what's down here. So somehow you've got to tell it what that wood type is. So we're going to, at the same time that we make the call, we're going to pass that variable right here up into the function so that we'll have it. So if I, right here, right after I made the call to the function, if I said print W, and when I ask for it down here, if I type in mahogany right here, and then I make the call up here, it should print mahogany right there because it's passed it up to there. It's actually not up to there, it's a different location. So, let's see if I can make sense. This is a kind of a hard concept, but you sure have to get it to be able to write in any other language. Because whenever, let me see, there's another way. Did any of y'all read that function part in Python for Fun and Profit? Let's see what his example is. Maybe it'll make a little more sense. Because before you can do the test, you need to understand this. I think I looked at function here too. Oh, is it time to go? It's time to go, isn't it? Okay. Go in his, he has one on functions, and there's an right here, functions, chapter 6, functions and data structures, creating a function, simple function, This one is just to print something, so he's not passing any parameters. So if you don't have to pass anything up there, do you guys, the first way I did it, are y'all understanding that? Okay, so on the test, I'm not going to make you pass anything up there, okay? And Samuel, you can make yours as fancy as you want. Or anybody else that does it. So I will change the test so that you have to make a function. That's to be part of it, but you don't have to pass anything into it, which Matthew did it that way and it worked without passing something. But you won't have to pass a parameter into it. I just want to see if you can make a function work, okay? So we'll go with that part for this time, okay? All right, so I'll put these examples out there. Also, I need you to read chapter 5 and take the quiz because we'll start lecturing over, I'm not chapter 5, I'm sorry, chapter 4 in the Head First book, okay? Okay, see you guys Tuesday. Have a good weekend. Let's see. Oh, good. Oh, somebody else is in here. Oh, Patrick, did you come back in? Did you get the test done? You did? Well, see, now I'm going to make it easier. You can do the easier way too if you want to. I'll post it. I'll send it to you, okay? All right, and you don't have to come in the Zoom to do it. Okay, and Deli. Who's here? Deli. Okay. Hopefully that helped you. Tanya, you said I answered your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, guys, I will, if you don't have any other questions, I'll go ahead and log off of here. So this will record. Now I think I opened something. Hi, Deli.
Hi, how you doing, ma'am?
All right, how are you?
I'm good. Hey, ma'am, I'm having an issue with my Python. I'm unable to run it on my system. Is it maybe the one I installed is different from the one you are using?
Oh, your Python isn't working on your, you probably have a Windows, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it should even run easier on
Okay.
there. Let's see. Do you
I'm
have
using
yours
Windows
uploaded to
10.
Google Drive?
It's a what?
What do you get? What is it? Does it not run at all?
It doesn't run at all, but I can, let me just show you what is displaying. It doesn't
Okay.
have the, hold on, let me see, trying to launch it. Oh, Python. Yeah, it doesn't have the run tab on it, so though I can input the program, but it doesn't run on my system. Can you hear me? This is how it look like. I can't hear you. No, 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 no. I'm not hearing you again. I can't hear you again. I can't hear you, ma'am. Maybe I'll join you later to ask. I don't know what's wrong with the system. It's hanging. Oh. Okay, this is my system. Okay.